You know, folks, I was listening to a little bit of what Dalyxman had to say, and he did a video called The Era of the Smart Wrestling Fan, or Era of Smart Wrestling. Basically talking about how nowadays we are currently in an era where fans pretty much are smart enough to know what they want and what they don't want. Pretty much smart enough to understand, hey, we're not going to accept what you're trying to shove down our throats. Now, as much as, a company like WWE may not want to acknowledge that, and believe me, they don't. Dalyxman brings up a point. We pretty much know the backgrounds of a lot of these men and women that get signed by WWE. Whether they're brought up to the main roster automatically, like AJ Styles and Carl Anderson, or they're put down or they're left in NXT. We pretty much know who they are. We followed their careers. We know where they started. We know where they made a major name for themselves. We know pretty much everything about them. So the question is, why doesn't WWE acknowledge that? Why don't they acknowledge that we know who these guys are? We know what they're capable of. We know what they're about. I'll tell you why, in my own personal opinion. Because if WWE, if they acknowledged, like I said, that we pretty much know who these guys are, these men and women are, because of their backgrounds. If they pretty much acknowledge that, then they pretty much acknowledge the fact that we know how good they are. And they pretty much have to acknowledge the fact that this is who we want to see on top. This is who we, as the smart wrestling fans, feel can save their companies. Or save the company as a whole. But you see, WWE doesn't want to acknowledge that. They don't want to acknowledge that because they know if they acknowledge it, pretty much they're going to have to do something about it. They're going to have to do something about it. And they're going to have to do something about it they don't like. They're going to basically have to give us what we want. And the WWE, the corporates, Vince McMahon, whoever is in charge, whoever besides Vince McMahon has the final say so, they're pretty much not going to want to go down a similar path that they went through with Daniel Bryan back in 2014. And if not at the beginning of 2015. And why? Like I said, they don't want to have to go through down that Daniel Bryan path that they did in 2014, as well as somewhat at the beginning of 2015, because they know if they do, they got no choice but to give us what we want. Give the smart fans what they want. As well as acknowledge the fact that, okay, maybe what we're giving them, maybe the audience that we're trying to cater to isn't exactly a kiddie audience. Maybe it is adults. Maybe it is the 18 to 35-year-olds. Maybe it is the 35 to 75-year-olds or whatever. Maybe it is those fans. And, well, maybe not 35 to 75, but basically that 18 to maybe 40 demographic. They pretty much know that the smart wrestling fan wants quality over quantity. They want substance over junk food. They want finesse. Over stumbling. They basically want a product that they could say, yeah, we know it's entertainment, we know it's choreographed, but at least it looks like a damn sport again. And true, some of these smart wrestling fans may be the kind that want to harken back to things like the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era. Maybe that's what they want. But there's a lot of factors that get played into this. One of the main factors is the fact that WWE is now so in the open, now so publicized, if you will, that the PR and HR offices and whatever don't want to chance it. Now, some can fault certain people like Stephanie McMahon. Some might say that the way Stephanie McMahon was booking things, creating things when she was on creative and things like that, then she was not the best woman or person for the job. And that might be true. But then again, some might think about it. Some might think and believe that Stephanie was running it not as a businesswoman, not as a future wrestling promoter, but as a mother. She was running things, creating things, and doing things by viewing them from the eyes of a mother and not from the eyes of a businesswoman, of a promoter that should give the fans, the actual wrestling fans, what they want and not look at it from a mother and think, okay, what can we give the kids? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but those days are over. I think pretty much the smart wrestling fans, whether you're at WrestleMania, whether you're at places like WrestleMania, whether you're at places like Philadelphia, or you're in Chicago, Rosemont Horizon, if you will, Allstate Arena in Chicago for something like Payback, which is basically Smart Mark ROH territory. No matter where you're at, smart wrestling fans are going to tell you, hey, you could shove someone like Roman Reigns, John Cena, those kind of guys down our throats all you want. We're not going to take them seriously. See, the smart wrestling fan, the era of the smart wrestling fan, I don't know if Dalyxman mentions this. I can't remember. I didn't watch the whole thing just yet. I watched most of it before I had to go back to work. And I was doing one of my lunch breaks. But the smart wrestling fan, when you think about it, wasn't just created because of now we have access all over because of things like the internet. No. It wasn't just created because of that. And it wasn't just created because of what we saw in the MMA like UFC. Those are part of the reasons. But it was created because now we got promotions like ROH, New Japan, PWG, CZW, if you will, AAA, if you will, Lucha Underground, the AAA spinoff. And even at times, whether we like it or not, TNA, Impact Wrestling, they will go out and actually give us good wrestling and good storylines. And this includes the WWE's own NXT. I mean, Dalyxman even said that these past two Raws felt like they were written by someone either from NXT or by Paul freaking Heyman. I don't know how it's going to come off tonight, but we'll have to see. But the point is, they want substance. They want substance over junk food. They want finesse over stumbling. Like I say, they want finesse over stumbling. They want good or great quality sport of wrestling over sport of entertainment. That's what they want. And you could factor in and say it's because of the internet now, and because of the internet and things like YouTube, Facebook, social media, that fans like us can watch all these different products, all these different, versions of wrestling, all these other promotions. But the thing is, you can contribute that. You can contribute the fact that UFC has given us great quality matches at times, bouts, and maybe that's what fans are wanting the most, things like that. Maybe you can contribute places like ROH for what's the word? Hybriding, doing a hybrid of MMA wrestling kind of style, in-ring style. Maybe you could contribute that, Maybe you could contribute places like UR Fight Live, whatever they're called. Things like that. And maybe it's the fact that you could contribute it to the point that even WWE has to take responsibility of this. You could contribute it to the freaking network. Because when fans see things like the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era, and they see how good a quality of the storylines were there, and how good a quality the matches were, if not brutality-wise, and if not sexualized with the women. Of course you're going to have that 18 to 35 to 18 to 40-year-old demographic say, hey, I want WWE to bring me that again. I want them to give me that again. I don't want this kiddie fight stuff. I want that. You know, why do you think fans are like, hey, you just need to let Roman be a freaking badass? You know, you can't just have him come out here and say, I'm the guy, if you're not going to lead it towards a heel turn. No, you need to basically have him be a badass. Just come out and say, hey, I'll defend this title right now against anybody. Have his opponent come out, have a match, have him basically beat the crap out of them. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Leave. That's what fans want. They want that. They want that substance. They want that out of someone like a Roman Reigns. You know, kick ass, defend the belt, kick ass, retain the belt, leave. You know, that's what they want. And, you know, a lot of fans will probably say that the reason they're pushing Roman is because they know John Cena only has a few years left. And they know that they'll never have The Rock back full time, so they need someone that's, to them, a hybrid of Cena and Rock. Guess what? Roman is not that guy. And even guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, who, by the way, is a Hall of Famer in the Hall of Fame. Someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley. Everybody who's a Hall of Famer has competed in that ring, has good connections with WWE, have come out and said that Roman Reigns needs to go heel or he needs to go freaking badass. End of story. And I understand some people are saying, well, if the smart wrestling fan wants him to go heel, it's going to be thrown back in the face because then they're going to cheer him. Not necessarily. You see, you study, you do research. And a smart wrestling fan realizes that you take all that hatred that people are throwing at him and you have him throw it back at them. And you have him throw it back at them tenfold or 100-fold. You have him do that. You have him do that. And you guarantee you'll have fans wanting him to get his ass kicked constantly. And then you'll get your viewership. Because then you'll have somebody as a champion that fans will tune in and say, hell, I even want freaking John Cena to kick his ass. You want your John Cena supporters back? There you go. And the smart wrestling fans know that. But the WWE has yet to wake up to that. The corporate office, the corporate ties have yet to wake up to that. Now you're teasing something on Raw about a possible Bullet Club reunion with AJ, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows, when in fact, just by what I'm reading, just by what I know Dalyxman's going to talk about and point out, you're going to freaking put Gallows and Anderson with Reigns. We all pretty much know that. Pretty much what it looks like here, because it's 20 years later. Think about that. I think the smart wrestling fan's going to wake up after tonight's Raw, after reading the freaking spoilers, and they're going to pretty much say, hey, it's 20 years later. WWE's trying to recreate the NWO. Hey, fans are going to smart up to that. After tonight, I guarantee it. And if you don't believe me, I'm guaranteeing you Dalyxman's going to point it out. So is Jeff Siegel, the Schleg Daddy on OTR Central. They're going to all point it out. Solomonster's going to freaking point it out. I mean, they're doing so good. And yet now when I read these Raw spoilers, because they're in the UK, oh boy. Now, unless they do go the AJ route and team him with, and reunite him with Anderson and Gallows, then that's fine. Bring the Bullet Club in. But we'll just have to wait and see. Because you know what? To me, I truly think they're trying to recreate the NWO for 20 years later. And you know what? Styles is a great choice to kind of bring in or lead this reunion, this WWE version. And maybe even Finn Balor coming in afterwards. And it's to be a co-leader or whatever. But then again, I don't know. Knowing WWE, they're going to go the Gallows, Anderson, teamed up with Reigns, reform the NWO route. And you know what? I wouldn't put it past them at Payback. I wouldn't. Because you know why? They're in Chicago. You want him to get hate? There's your answer right there. I guarantee that's probably the thinking. And this being the era of the smart wrestling fan, I think a lot of fans, after reading the spoilers, after being there in London tonight, the London fans, and those watching it, going to be watching it tonight on USA, I think we pretty much know that's exactly what they're planning. Let's pray they don't. But you see, again, this is just an indication, because I just thought about that right now here on the fly, talking about this as a reply to Dalyxman's video. They're going to, just think about that. That could happen. And there's no reports about it. There's rumors, talks, very vaguely rumors and talks, but still makes you think. You know, you might say, well, they attacked Roman. Why would they want to say? To make it look like they're siding with AJ. Again, it's just me. It's just me maybe, but I can almost sense that's what they're doing. And again, I just thought about that on the fly. So again, that just shows this is the era that Dalyxman's right about one thing. This is the era as a smart wrestling fan, because if a fan, even like myself, can think about that right off the fly while I'm doing this, it shows that pretty much we're on to what WWE is trying to do. And if that's the case, fine. You know, let them finally do what's right. And maybe if they have to do it this way, fine. Let them turn him heel by doing a recreation of the NWO. But if that's not the case, and maybe they do go Bullet Club reunion, we have to wait and see. But again, you know, it's just, we're just in this era, as Dalyxman pointed out, that a company like WWE could try to say they know what's good for us, but in the end, they don't. They are making some good decisions. Yes, they are. I'll give them that. They are making some good decisions. They're giving us what we want in certain ways, like with the VOD villains, and Enzo and Cass, and Apollo Crews. And down the line, girls like Bailey, women like Bailey. You know, they're giving us what we want, talent-wise and in-ring substance-wise, but still, it's a long ways for them to really give the smart wrestling fan what they want. And heck, it's going to be a long, long ways for them to try to outsmart the smart wrestling fan. Because you know what? As long as they keep thinking in a different way, and thinking that's what the way fans want to go, it's going to blow up in their face. That's a guarantee. But that's all I'm going to say, folks. And Dalyxman, I hope you're listening. Please reply to this.